Welcome back. A simple fall can be incredibly complicated if you are elderly. In fact, falls are the leading cause of unintentional injury-related deaths among older adults. Dr. Bilal Joseph from Banner University Medical Center is here to say that they are preventable. Nice to have you here, Doctor.
Good morning, Alex. Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about how common falls are, and I'm sure there's people watching and listening who have experienced a loved one falling or even themselves, but talk about the numbers a little bit.
I would tell you falls are currently the single most common reason people are coming to emergency rooms. If you're over the age of 65, probably 1 in 3 patients will fall at some point in their life, and if you're above 80, that number goes up to about every other person will experience a fall. We also know that once you fall, the likelihood of you falling again in the next 6 months goes up drastically, so that's another area. And then we talk about injury after fall. I mean, sometimes the first fall is the time where people lose their dependence and realize they have to make some changes in life. So
right. I mean, as a doctor, I'm sure you see these cases come in and you think this was completely preventable. There were steps we could have taken to make sure that this person didn't fall. So talk about those injuries a little bit more and the complications that can arise out of them.
The most common injury from falls is actually a head injury. And as simple as that may sound, we know that the head injury, whether you're on blood thinning medications, can be drastic and sometimes even take your life. And I think that's one of the things. It's not just a fall. I mean, I think falls are a very serious reason why people are coming to the hospital and actually being admitted. Fractures is another common thing. You know, you put your hands out as you're falling. Fractures in your hips and your arms, also in your legs. Very common to see bone fractures is the other most common injury that we experience.
So let's talk prevention a little bit, because there are many steps you can take, and this is just something that can avoid a lot of complications. It can shorten your life, is the truth. So how can we prevent?
Yeah, so I think the most important thing is to be open to talk about it. You know, I think once you have a fall, you have to be willing to talk to your primary care physician, talk to friends, family. The other side is having your family members who may notice that you have been unsteady on your feet. Other things that you can do, eye exams are super crucial for that as we get older. Wearing the right size shoes, simple things as surveying your home and looking things like loose carpets, electrical cords that may be around, pets and animals, handles and rails around the stairways. I mean, I think those are many of the little things, but sometimes you need a third person to come in and kind of tell you about those things. And I think that's some of the things we're trying to do with the Fall Prevention Coalition, is work on those things.
Yeah, so talk about the coalition just a bit more.
The coalition is a really awesome organization. It's through the Pima Health Department. There's about 22 organizations that have committed their time and energy into working on fall prevention through Pima County. I think some of the things that we do, and you can see there on the screen, that's all the organizations. Everyone's dedicated to really holding programs. September's Fall Awareness Month. This whole month there's about 6 or 7 different things going around in the community. This Friday at the University Health Science Center, we're having a falls prevention event that's going to talk about the different things you can do for prevention. You can see all the events here listed and the times. It's really important, I think, just knowing. That's the most important thing. And then once you do know how serious this can be, taking the steps to make a difference, to making sure your home is safe and the people. I think one of the other important things to talk about is what should you do if you fall. And really the most important thing if you fall is, if you have a cell phone or an alert device, you should call for help. If you can't call for help, you don't have anyone, then the next thing you would do would really sit yourself up, kind of gain yourself, make sure that nothing else is broken or hurt. And if you feel that you will, I think just settling yourself for about a minute or two and then working your way back up and then reaching a phone to call for help. And again, what you see on the screen now is a fall prevention fair. It's really exciting. It's got a bunch of organizations coming in to talk about some of the things that we can do, some lectures on falls, Tai Chi, and some of the other events such as exercise. I think that's really critical. When you talk about what should you do, you should keep exercising. I think, making sure that you're not just letting yourself fall.
Right, and frailty, I mean, can certainly lead to falls, right? I mean, it can happen to anyone. You could be 25 and fall. We have these cables in the studio. Sometimes we trip over them. But if someone's frail, that's when it could happen more often.
Absolutely. Frailty is the acceleration of aging. So just because you're a certain number doesn't mean that your body is at that number.
Right.
You could be 60 with the body of an 80-year-old and vice versa. And I think what frailty is, when you know that you're frail, it helps you identify that you're at higher risk for falls and for complications and fractures from falls. So that's really it. Yeah.
And if you can incorporate technology, I know a lot of the smartwatches these days, for example, can detect if you fall and call emergency services. So if that's something you can afford, I think it's worth looking into. But Doctor, great information. Thanks
Alex,
for being
thank you so much.
Nice to see you.
All right, thank you.
And if you'd like to learn more, the Falls Prevention Coalition is holding several events in the coming months, like we said. Take a glance at the dates there and visit healthypima.org/falls or call 520-790-7262 for any other information.